Aloha guys, GRTV episode 101. So this is going to be a super breakdown. We're going to talk about everything. Talk about relationships as usual. Want to discuss manipulative tactics briefly that people use. And a few references to this concept of world peace. And any other anecdotes which I am inclined to share. Now, the manipulators use tactics to gain psychological power over other people. They put people in positions where the person feels like they owe them something, or that they are not in a position to think freely or independently. So a manipulator will use language like authoritative language and make the person feel bad or something like that in order so that they are more quiet and submissive. They'll offer them food, transportation, housing, whatever, even stuff like an invite to a party, just to get them in a position where they're like the authority. They'll use physical closeness in order to kind of somehow present themselves as seemingly powerful and authoritative. And next, the idea, for example, say of all these different marriages and everything interracial, whatever. The topic of which people think each other are more attractive comes up, and the truth is that the fantasy is that there are certain things that people prefer, and that they're definitively better than other things, so that's what the ego does. It tries to simplify things like, okay, I need one thing to be better or more attractive. And that's the one ideal. But the truth is that there's such a variety in life, and that your dream mate will like you. They will not cheat on you. It's somebody that even if they didn't have an attractive, even if they lost their health or wealth or even like the functionality of their sex organs, it's somebody that you guys would both want to be with each other. And so when people bring up these issues of penis vagina size, it's something that is interest to some people. But what's interesting, I find, is oftentimes it's guys that do, and whether they're talking about their making reference to their own genitalia or others, I just think there's a certain queerness to it. It's also socially inappropriate. Just like some guys will make comments on women's breast size, I also think that's not appropriate. Me, I prefer a flattened chest on a woman. I think breasts are kind of like extra things that, like, I do appreciate their physical visual appearance, but I just think they interfere with things like exercise, sexual activity as well, and just general closeness, and can kind of have an interfering effect with life. So I think it's more appropriate that they, obviously during pregnancy they increase with some milk in order for child rearing, but otherwise I don't think it's useful. But that's just my take on it, just to give you an example. Equivalently, I think even with male penis size, there's this, it's the exact same thing to ask, what's the size of a woman's vagina, and so people should transcend this concern of and this idea that you have to have a certain body type or sex organs to be attractive. It's just there's too much variety out there, and you should know what you want though, and you should want people to want what they want. Like let's just take an example. Like let's say black guy, Japanese woman, get together. Whatever their body parts or anything is, or body shape, whatever. It's one of two things. Either you're going to be happy for them as a loving couple. Okay. Either you'll be happy for them as a loving couple, and you'll be like, all right, great. These people. I hope they enjoy and pleasure each other. It's the concept of wanting to please somebody because you love them, as opposed to just actively seeking pleasure, quote unquote. And there's this idea that let's see. If people use their bodies to seduce and manipulate each other, obviously it's on the surface it looks like, oh, I should feel badly because my bodies aren't like theirs or whatever. And by the way, you can invest in your future incarnations. And if maybe you don't like somebody or you don't like their behavior, you can, instead of being upset at them, invest in their future incarnations. So if someone's a bad person, then invest in their future incarnation. You see what I'm saying? And that's a way that we can transcend these concerns about temporary, existence within the next 50 years, and think more long-term. Think thousands of years into humanity's and other intelligent life forms' existences. Now, another topic. It's the subject of world peace. World peace is sometimes defined as the lack of war. So there might be different hardships, maybe financial trade wars, whatever. There may be different elements going on, but as long as there's no actual physical violent war, that's a factor in world peace. And another one being, I've watched a few videos. There's one I recommend checking out. It's a TED Talk that was done at the Strasbourg University in France. You can just Google those key words. This guy talks about things leading to the idea of what's called supranational government, where it's focusing on issues that are issues for everyone. So, for example, certain issues aren't issues for everybody, but certain issues are. And what else? What else we got here? Any other thoughts? If everyone would just do some deep breathing, relax, breathe. Again, the whole idea of the whole, like pornography extremes and penis or breast size or otherwise, it's not reality. And so therefore, what it is it's a fantasy. It's the same thing like a fantasy of somebody wanting to have quick short-term relationships with random people they find appealing. That's a fantasy. And when you pursue a fantasy, it's a lack of truth. It's not reality. It's not your dream mate. And you're just randomly giving your energy away. And it's also teasing yourself. And it's also half-hearted. And it's non-committal. And what happens is the way you live some aspects of your life will affect other areas, obviously. So in order to really feel like your life is yours, and you're not just giving it away to your desire, not just giving it away to other people's desire and physicality, if you really want to experience the soul existence of pursuit of truth and individual freedom, and the idea of world peace, I think, is encapsulated in this global citizen concept, where that's what we identify with, right? We identify with that. We don't identify with being of a particular country of origin or ethnic background. And we identify with perhaps cities that we live in instead of countries. And so the city is multicultural, it's, multi-ethnic, right? And that allows for, see, the paradox is that true freedom is not being dependent on people financially and emotionally. True freedom is having some financial backing and emotional stability, such that there's emotional self-control, activating your own chakras, such that you can give to people unconditionally without needing something from them. And the paradox is that it's the individual that can do more for people, not the person that is about a big group mentality. I mean, if you can group or categorize yourself as, I'm a person living on the earth. That might be a viable grouping, but it's the individual that can truly do more and be more genuine and live authentically and do unconditional acts. And that's the individual, and so in a society we can be more close together if we're more individual, because we're all expressing our truth. And the theme is pursue your goals in truth, as opposed to everybody pursuing the same thing. So that let's see, any other thoughts or thinking here to represent? Let's see here. Do some deep. Whenever I pause, just do some deep breathing. Really breathe. Realize that that's your control of your emotional center. Also, this other issue of world peace before marriage or having children. Marriage and daily fun activities with your spouse it's a luxury. It takes time. It takes time to do. So I operate as if people are suffering in the world, and I'm right next to them, and I'm right supporting them, trying to go in the direction of an enjoyable, peaceful world where complications do rise, but at least people have their basic needs met, or they have the opportunity to meet them, and there's no actual physical war, like war with killing and weapons and like tanks and stuff like that. So thank you for listening. Another issue is this idea of blood being thicker than water, wherein when people have families, they prioritize the families. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just, take care of yourself and those close to you before others at large. But I'm saying that in order to achieve world peace, somebody who has a family is less positioned to do that, because they have to focus on their family, And maybe they are positioned. Maybe they're able to accomplish a lot, and have a balanced life, whatever. But what I'm saying here is that this concept of family, blood being thicker than water, quote unquote, my position is that, so does that mean your biological relatives care about you and your values more than anyone else? I would say not necessarily. So be sure to be clear. And these hierarchical positions, do they really serve? Can you best serve each other? Or instead of, say, father, son, or grandchild, grandfather, is it better that you just call each other equals and friends and on a first name basis? Can you more so give to each other if you are in those positions and serve each other? I always repeat all these issues, but with little twists on them to better refine them. And thanks for listening. We'll do a little light work here. Remember, you can do this wherever you are. Whenever you feel bored, you're waiting in line, you don't know what to do, you're concerned about somebody's near you, seems like they're acting weird, you don't know what to do with work, financial, whatever, health, whatever. It's somebody you're physically attracted to, feel a little sexual tension, anything. Just imagine that person, okay, smiling, and not because they're smiling like in relation to you, like they're smiling because of something to do with you, but they're just smiling in their life. And then imagine you can raise your fingers like this, and you can imagine you're beaming to them, like wherever it is, just aim towards where you think they are, beam a bright beam of light, or imagine somebody beaming a bright beam of light at them, and they smile and react in enthusiasm, and they, their aura activates, and they can like grab the brilliant laser beam of light. They can like reach towards it and bring it to themselves, and it's just a positive thing, just a really, really nice thing. And so we do these things, and we have a better world, guys. We use the mind as a tool to think positively and program it with what you want. And by the way, the idea of programming has to do with habits, right? So people say, oh, I have bad habits. It really is that simple. It takes time, though, to build a new habit. So focus on a new habit that you want to build, and realize that once you have it as a habit, then you can build another habit. But ideal in a perfect world, people first learn how to meet their basic needs, laws of the jungle, like respect people's space and privacy. When people are upset, when you're upset, seek space, give space, stuff like laws of the jungle. People learn these things, and then they learn more complex things like financial management and life planning and stuff like that. But yeah, it takes time, and let's go for it, guys. Aloha. Remember to wear a ring. Imagine the power, and this is like, I'm always talking about this dream mate idea, right? You got to imagine that you're saving your money for your dream mate. It's for you guys. Sometimes people say, oh, you can't do stuff for other people, you got to do stuff for yourself. Well, I think it's even one step further if you say you're doing it for your dream mate, because sometimes we feel badly, and we don't have a clear sense of self-respect or definement. But you know what your dream mate is. Your dream mate is somebody who has the same dreams and values as you. But in any case, yeah, this is somebody who will help you to make saving money easier. Anything you can imagine. And just imagine they're always watching you. Like, would your dream mate want you to do this, or all types of stuff like that, and this will save the world. This will make it so people don't want to seduce all types of random people and engage in competitive tension, conflicts, try to all that crazy stuff, man. That we got to transcend that, But you wear a ring if you do. It'll make you feel so good to feel like you're already married and committed to yourself and your future dream mate. So go with that. Aloha.